This video includes all endings to Find Love or Die Trying. I am your host, FlareBlitzed, and we are going to see out this adventure together. From what the protagonist said earlier, you are cruel, manipulative, and love to get under people's skins. You've been proven trustworthy on the last little bit of the journey, but no. I'm sorry, Cat. Don't be. I deserve this. I raised the gun and pointed it at her. I took a deep breath. Goodbye, Flare. Yeah, you do, don't you? And goodbye, Cat. Goodbye, Island. I've earned my freedom, but at what cost? Every step I take back to the boat gets heavier and heavier. It feels like I'm sinking into the ground. For some reason, I'm crying? My heart hurts so much. It feels like a part of me has died. I fall to the ground. I try to get up, but I just sink deeper and deeper into the ground. I'm so sorry, Cat. I'm so sorry. We've reached an ending of sorts. Believe it is an ending anyways. And we go through the lovely credits of the game itself. I have to say, all of the arts in this game are fantastic, beautifully drawn, from the backgrounds to the characters and everything like that, and the music chosen as well, which is really nice. I've heard it in other games, but still very, very good. And this game is free, by the way. It is for free, which is, I think that's the cherry on top, but at the same time, that cherry on top is obviously only there because the game is so good in itself. Like, if the game was bad and free, then it wouldn't have a cherry on top. Right, we're going to have to go with the other option. The option of trusting Cat. I trust you, Cat. I held up a gun to her. You do? After everything I've done? After everything you've done, yes, I still trust you. I know you've been forced to do some awful things to people that didn't deserve it, but I know there's good in you, and I believe in that good. Take it. Thank you, Flare. She took the gun from my hands. I won't let you down. Well, if you do, it's not like I'll be around for long enough to regret it. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Let's do this. We decided to seek Damien out and try to get the drop on him, rather than waiting for him at the switch. My heart was practically beaten out of my chest. I couldn't tell if Cat was as nervous as I was. If she was, she hit it with the same poker face she always had. We dashed to another wall for cover, looked around and repeated. However much time has passed, it feels like we've been looking for him for hours, with the pressure, for I know it can't be more than a few minutes. As the minutes passed by, I could tell Cat was growing more and more impatient. She trained her gun wherever she looked, her trigger finger ready to shoot our only bullet at any time. Left, right. I glanced around, then looked to her and back again. Her hands were shaking. Look left, look right. We've only got one shot to make or break it. Look back to Cat. She's checking a corner ahead of us. She looks left, she looks right. It takes everything I have to stay focused. Don't think about dying, not even the possibility. She turns to look back at me. Oh no. Damien's walking closer and closer from behind her, with his gun resting on his shoulder. He can't be more than 10 meters away. He slowly lifts the gun off from its resting position. Before I know it, I'm running towards her with everything I have. Something is making me run. Something I've forgotten. Something I'm just starting to remember. It's the two of us at the beach. I can see it now. How many hours has it been? We made it to the ship, but it wasn't enough. The alarms were deafening. Security was going to be here any minute. And I was only saving grace our ship wouldn't start. That's it then. I never heard Cat ever sound so desperate. Well, at least we tried, right? Who else could say that? She lowered her head and leaned on me. No. We're not giving up just yet. There's nothing we could do, Flare. The engine's broken. The guards will be here any minute. We've got at least some weapons. It's not over yet. I grabbed the precious few firearms we had and split them between us. There's 2 of us and hundreds of them. There's no point. Not to mention, you're a terrible shot. You're right. Taking them head on would be suicide. But that's not what you'll be doing. Me, I'm just some nobody. But you're a big man's daughter, after all. Your word means a lot to them. She was horrified. I would be too if I were in her shoes right now. No, I won't let you do this, Flare. We don't have a choice. Look around. Look, I'm not happy either. But us both dying here would be worthless. But if you live, you get a second chance to make it out of here. A second chance to see the other side. I know, but what's the point if it's not with you? You'll have to find that out yourself. They're almost here. Come on, we're running out of time. Her hands were shaking. It looks like she was going to drop her gun any second. I hate you for this, you know. I know, and I'm sorry. Wow, this time she's doing this out of remorse, out of some kind of desperation, and trained the gun's sight directly at me. And now, we wait. Can you do me a favor? What's that? Don't shoot the face, please. I'm rather proud of it. I don't know what I'd do without my supernaturally good looks. Hey! She laughed through the tears. I would have still loved you even without them. Right back at you, cat. She kissed me for the last time. I love you, Flare. I love you too. Sorry, but it's gonna be the face. Let me just take off for safety. Wait, I didn't sign up for this. I heard my favourite sound one last time. I can hear the guards coming now. With any seconds left. On the bright side, I won't owe you $10. Our bet? She laughed. I think it's pretty clear who won the bet. I can see the guards now. My time is up. What makes you say... And you did it. I'm alive? Everything hurts so bad. I almost wish I wasn't. The shock must have knocked me out cold. I coughed up blood as my vision flashed in and out rapidly. Too fast to tell if I'd been fatally shot. It was all I could do to try to stay conscious. It's as if you said, Father. Anyone who breaks our law must be punished. I could just barely make out her voice, but it brought comfort to me. You really do take after me. You've made your old man very, very proud. Oh, will you look at that? Looks like our little hero's got some life left. You know, Flare, you're in luck. See, the whole escaping thing. I'm afraid I'm going to have to fire you. No servants. I tried to make a witty comment back, but the only thing that came out of my mouth was coughed up blood. But you're in luck. A new opportunity's just opened up, and I think... He kicked me in the stomach, then rolled me over with his foot. You'd be the perfect fit. He laughed as he crushed my palm under his foot. You might think I'm going soft at you by not killing you outright. He looked down at me, then back at her. But mark my words, you'll both wish I had. Do whatever you want. I don't... Wow. Cold. Stone cold. He laughed manically. I never did like Flare much anyway. My vision's fading. His words turned to vapor as I could feel myself crumble into nothing. The last thing I saw was her face. She was holding the river back with everything she had. Who are you going to fool with a poker face like that? Cat. I love you. Always have. Always will. I'm so sorry for what I've forced you to do. Even more so, I'm so sorry that you'll be alone now. But I hope one day you understand. Flashback to reality, I've almost reached Cat. I push myself to run faster and faster. Faster than I've ever ran in my life. Cat doesn't see him, but she sees the alarm going off in my eyes. Damien points his gun at his daughter. He's preparing to take the shot. Cat starts to turn around, but there's no time. Damien's finger pulls back on the trigger. What am I doing? I see the world turn to slow motion. Why am I throwing away my life? For Cat? These memories, they're mine, yet not at the same time. Who can say if I'm the same person as before, who loved her so much? Who can say if these memories form a completely different me, compared to what I am now? There's no time for answers. Even if I've forgotten you, over and over, somehow I remember you, and I know that I would do anything for you. I ran past Cat and threw myself in front of her because I love her. A gunshot rings out. It's like my body is struck by lightning and set aflame. He fires again and again. Undescribable pain ripples across my body as shot after shot rips through me. It's not like the movies, where someone could stand after being shot over and over. The firing stops, and my vision starts to fade. I can barely hear him reloading over the sound of my body screaming in agony. My knees buckle. I start to fall. As I fall, I can see Cat with her gun trained on Damien. There's no fear in her eyes. Her hands aren't shaking, but she's biting her lip so hard I can see it bleeding. The last thing I see before the dark takes me is her finger pressing down on the trigger. And... Wake up, Flare! Please, please don't die! What's happening? Am I alive? I'd never heard her sound so desperate. Please just wake up! I can't lose you again! Not again! It took everything I had just to open my eyes and breathe. Cat was cradling me in her arms with tears streaming down her face. Thank God, don't pass out again. You almost gave me a heart attack. Sorry, Cat. I coughed up blood. Save your strength. Did you get him? We did. That's great. The switch. We should be able to get to it now, but you're in no shape to walk. And to be honest, I'm not in the best shape either. I looked up at her and felt my heart drop. You've been shot. She laughed. Yeah, now that I know what it feels like. I'm even more sorry for shooting you back than on the beach. But there's nothing else you could have done, Cat. That didn't stop me from regretting every second of these past 2 years. That day I made a promise to myself. It didn't matter how many people I had to hurt, or how much I would have to hurt. I would get you off this island alive and well, even if it was the last thing I did. Well, Cat, this is a revelation itself. Even if I had to see you fall in love with somebody else 100 times. Even if I knew it meant I could never be with you again. I made a promise back then, and I'll keep it even if it kills me. Slowly, Cat tried to lift me off the ground and onto her back. She screamed and coughed up blood. She tried to lift me up. Stop! You're going to get yourself killed. Then that's exactly what I'm going to do. She lifted me onto her back and took one step back towards the switch. I told myself back then. She stepped forward again. Her legs were trembling. But if you weren't leaving this island alive, neither would I. Another step closer. Because I love you, you know? One more step. I know you don't remember most of our time together. Her breathing was getting ragged. She'd take several steps, then have to pause for breath. Honestly, I'm glad you even remember bits and pieces. I'm grateful for whatever I can get. The switch is in sight. And maybe the you I fell in love with doesn't even exist anymore. We're so close to it, yet so far. But I'd like to believe it's still you, Flare. That you're still the same Flare that I fell in love with. We were just steps away from the switch. How romantic at a time of desperation. That I'm still the one you love. She laughed bitterly. It's just wishful thinking, I know. We're here. We made it. You just... She coughed up blood again. Need to put your hand on the scanner. Can you do that? Got it. I used the last of my strength to reach my hand forward. With every inch I draw closer to it, my vision goes dark. I push harder and harder with everything I had. Got it. My turn. Done. All that's left is to pull the switch. Sorry, Flare. I'm going to have to put you down for a second. No problem. Cat gently rested me on the ground. Blank! I can barely stand now. She trembled towards the switch. She managed to catch it with her hands and used it to keep herself upright. Here we go. The moment we'd all been waiting for. She pulled it with the last of her strength. A second later, she fell to the ground by my side. The cacophony of machinery filled the stadium. That must be the barrier opening. We did it, Flare. I'm sorry, Flare. What for? I don't think we're getting out of here after all. I can't even move. It's okay. We had a good run, you know? I guess you could say that. At least the girls will be able to get out of here. They deserve better than to die here. Get away from me, Avast. Not a time like this. Yeah. Of course you do. You keep saying that. Always have and always will. For these last 2 years, I dreamed of us starting a new life together, somewhere far from here. But I guess life is not like the movies, or like the games. Dreams don't come true. I wish we could have met in a different place, a different time. Maybe, just maybe, Flare, we... Cat? Cat! Her eyes were closed. Streams of tears ran down from both her eyes. My vision blurred even more as tears welled up in my eyes. If we could have met in a different place, a different time, I'm sure our story would have been so different. I wish we could have, Cat. I tried to move close to her, but my body refused. It was all I could do to move my head around. I looked around in futility, for some kind of miracle that could save us both. This is too sad an ending. I looked to Cat. I looked to the heavens, which had all but abandoned us. I looked behind us, and I saw what could only be described as angels. I tried to speak, but no words would come out. I must be dreaming. I must be. The world turned to black. Am I dead? If I keep asking myself that, it's bound to be right sooner or later. But somehow, I think there's more to come in my story. And I know there's only one person I want to spend the rest of my life with. I love you. Ah! The endings! The endings! This is what we've been looking for! A way out! For goodness sakes, you know I'm going to pick Violet. I woke up in an unfamiliar room. It's the room. Shaking? I try to get up. Oh, blank! I look down to my body. I've been bandaged up enough to look like I'm a mummy. But I'm alive. Welcome back, Flare. I knew you'd make it, but you had me for a second. You know me. I like to keep things interesting. Thanks, it's great to see you again, Violet. Likewise, Flare. I'm not sure what I would have done if I'd lost you. I've grown a tad attached, you might say. Thanks, Violet. I'm sure the others want to know you're alright. A moment, please. What was the story between us getting shot to oblivion and getting here? What's the in-between part? How do we get rescued? The 5 girls must have came back and rescued us. That's what it was. And, oh my gosh, you're okay. I'm so glad to see you alright, Flare. You really didn't make it easy to save you either. Oh, and if you find yourself craving brains or bananas, that's entirely unrelated to how I treated you. Thanks. I'm just happy it worked. If you died after all we've been through... Oh, really? Terra? That's a twist of words in itself. But I'm really happy that you're here for me to say that to. What I think we're trying to say is, we're just glad you're okay. You know, the Resistance could use someone like you, Flare. Besides, it doesn't look like you have a real job anymore, huh? I'll have to think on that. Thanks, guys. You really stuck out your necks to save Cat and I. And I could never thank you enough. It's what you would do for us. Flare, thanks to you, it sounds like you weren't the ones that rescued us. Excuse me. I mean, you were the ones that rescued us. We ran after you two just moments after you left. There was no point in us escaping if it wasn't with you, Flare. Thanks! Yeah, I know Cat said not to, but hey, I didn't remember that at the time, so it's all good. By the way, Cat's doing well too. She's resting in the room next door. We even managed to save her brother's 5 too. I couldn't just let them be stranded after all. Well, all that we've been through. Exactly, the entire crew. The girls and the brothers 5 and us as well. That's great news. Thanks for letting me know. We should be thanking you. How comes? None of us would have made it off the island if it weren't for you and Cat. It's true, despite whatever you may hear Terra say. I'm just saying I have a pretty mean right hook, thanks. It's so good to see you all. I've got no idea what the world ahead each has for each of us, but Whatever it has in store, we'll face it together. You bet. I'm surprised you can say that with a straight face, but yes. I won't have it any other way. I could really use you as a PR person for Resistance Flare. You got a thing for speeches, thanks. Exactly. I just realised that dawned on me as well as like a inspirational speech on the internet. I think I have an inspirational speech anyways. Wait a minute. If everyone's here and Cat's next door, who's driving the boat? Oh, we're on the boat right now. Everyone looked at Terra. And that's a series exit for Terabyte. Terabyte. Nah, I prefer Petabyte. She ran off like a cartoon character. We laughed together. It felt like it's been so long since we could just laugh. No cameras, no fear. Just friends fooling around. Anyway, so good to see you're okay. That said, team, we need to get Flare some time to rest. Once again, I'm not trying to quarantine you because we didn't use a zombie's virus's unique properties to save you. Thanks. Thanks, Scarlett. And thank you everybody for coming to see me. Don't mention it. We're all in this together. And all that. Right? See you later, Flare. Alright. Enough of the cheese. Get out before Flare turns... before Flare needs rest. Shut up, Scarlett! And just off they go. And with that, I was alone. Whew, I thought they'd never leave. Hey, Scarlett, what's up? Nothing, I just... She was hiding a syringe behind her back. Need to give you a shot for... good luck. Right. I put my arm out forward. Well, the doctor knows best. I'm not a doctor. She injected the good luck into my arm. I just want to say... thanks again. My life went off the rails back at the island, even before the show. That's putting it lightly. She laughed. I know if I stayed there, I never would have been truly happy for the rest of my life. I never would have been able to help people ever again. So, thank you, Flare. You've been out, so there's no way you'd know. But today's the day that would have been the last day of the show, the final ceremony where you ask one of the girls to be with you. Now, I'm not saying anyone's rushing for a proposal, but I think there's somebody waiting for you up on the deck. She's a keeper, so you better treat her right. Thanks, Scarlett. I will. She kissed me on the cheek. Don't mention it. And then I was alone in the room. It's time to go see her. I reached through the door, and a second later, she opened it. Hey, there we go. Hey, Flare. Should you not be resting? Probably, but I won't stand for it. Here, let me help you back to the bed. Thanks, Spider. I put my arm around her, and she walked back with me back to the room. To the bed, sorry. I wanted to talk to you. At first, I wanted to wait until later, but I've learned some things just cannot wait. Ah, I had to see you no matter what. Ah, what is with this? Violet, you're breaking my heart in a good way. I had to see you no matter what. Why is that? First, I wanted to thank you. If it weren't for you, Flare, I know I would have never left that island alive. Right back at you, Violet. You gave us hope when we'd all but given up. Compared to that, I didn't do too much. I could not have done it if it weren't for you supporting me all this time, Flare. You've helped me through so much. I'm more grateful than I could ever express. You helped me realize that there's no such thing as a guarantee. The world we live in, the things we believe, whether or not we will survive another day, they could all be taken away in an instant. I'm positive none of us ever planned to be on a show like this, no? I like to think so. And if this is the way the world is, then there is nothing more important than making the most of every moment. That's all we have. It's true. She took a deep breath. More than anything, I want to share all of those memories to come with you, Flare. Like you've been there for me. I want to make you smile when you want to cry. I want to make you as happy as you make me every day. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I love you, Flare. Will you be mine and only mine? I love you too, Violet. I love you too, Violet. It'd be my pleasure to be yours. Will you be mine? For always, if you will have me. What do you mean, if? It's a definite. I can't help but smile. You beat me to asking you. I was going to find you and ask you out. I suppose great minds think alike. Perhaps I make a little more for moments than you are. No. I don't know about that. I pulled Violet close and kissed her on the lips. She kissed me back passionately, as if it were our last. For a moment, time stood still. All that mattered was Violet and I. It was bliss. I'm looking forward to the moments to come with you, Flare. I couldn't be happier. You took the words right out of my mouth. Here's to the moments we'll share, Violet. I love you. And that, folks, is Violet's ending to this tale. We have a few more, and I imagine that it's going to be exactly the same dialogue up until the moment of which one's going to come through that door when we open that door. But yeah, this is a wonderful game, and as I mentioned earlier, it's for free as well. But that's no reason to not think that if there was a visual novel out there with this kind of quality, with a price tag, you would still pay for it. And I would happily pay for a game like this. Like, there's been visual novels that I've paid which are of questionable value. Not going to say which ones, obviously. I'm not going to rat out any kind of potential here. But I'm just saying that there have been visual novels which have been with a price tag which haven't been as good as this one. Scarlett! Hey, welcome back to the world of living, Flare. Thanks, Scarlett. I can't tell you how happy I am to see you wake up. It's good to be back, Scarlett. Really? You've got to be more careful. If that zombie virus I created didn't double as a life-saving regeneration booster, you would have be dead right now. I'm sorry, what? I should not have said that exactly. I definitely should not have said that. Let me go tell the others the good news. Thank you very much. We're all back here. So it's definitely different throughout. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad to see you alright, Flare. What did I tell you guys? There's nothing to worry about. Your treatment proposal was unorthodox to say the least. Nonetheless, I'm so happy to hear that it went well. If you died after all we've been through, You said that again, Terra. But I'm really happy that you're here for me to say that, too. What I think we're trying to say is, we're just glad you're okay. You know, the Resistance could use somebody like you, Flare. Amen. Besides, it doesn't like you have a real job anymore, huh? I laugh from the heart. And you all to play. I can't tell you how happy I am to see all of you guys right now. Thanks, guys. You really stuck out your neck to save Cat and I could never thank you enough. It is what you would do for us, Flare, thank you. Indeed, we ran after you two just moments after you left. There was no point in us escaping if it wasn't for you, Flare. Yeah, I know Cat said not to, but hey, I didn't remember that at the time, so it's all good. By the way, Cat's doing well too. She's resting in the room next door. We even managed to save the brothers 5 too. We gotta do that for our brothers. For those who stuck their necks out for us, even though they're not all there in the heads, they're still there in the hearts. I couldn't just let them be stranded after, well, all that we've been through together. That's great news. Thanks for letting me know. I should be thanking you. None of us would have made it off this island if it wasn't for you and Cat. It's true. Despite whatever you may hear Terra say. I'm just saying, I have a pretty mean right hook, thanks. It's so good to see you all. I've got no idea what the world has for each of us, but whatever it has in store, we'll face it together. You bet. I'm surprised you could say that with a straight face, but yes, I wouldn't have it any other way. I could really use you as a PR person for Resistance, Flare. You've got a thing for speeches. Thanks. Wait a minute. If everyone's here and Cat's next door, who's driving the boat? Everyone looked at Terra. And that's a series exit for Terra. Bite. She ran off like a cartoon character. We laughed together. It felt like it's been so long since we could just laugh and there's nothing watching us. No cameras. No fear. No footage. Just friends fooling around. But at the same time, there is footage because you're watching this. Anyway, it's so good to see you're okay. That said, team, we will need to give Flare some time to rest. Once again, I'll try to quarantine you because we didn't use the zombie's virus' unique properties to save you. Just spare me the details, Scarlett, please. Thanks, Scarlett. And thank you, everybody, for coming to see me. Don't mention it. We're all in this together. And all that, right? See you later, Flare. Alright. Enough of the cheese. Get out before Flare turns. Before Flare needs rest, yes? Okay, you have to be like that. And with that, I was alone. Whew. I thought they'd never leave. Hey, Scarlett, what's up? Nothing, I just... She was hiding a syringe behind her back. Need to give you a shot for good luck. Right. I pushed my arm out forward. Well, the doctor knows best. Even if Scarlett is not a doctor per se. I'm not a doctor. She injected the good luck into my arm. I just wanted to say, thanks again. My life went off the rails back at the island. Even before the show. That's putting it lightly. She laughed. I know if I stayed there, I never would have been truly happy for the rest of my life. I never would have been able to help people. Ever again. So, thank you again, Flare. You've been out. So there's no way you'd know, but... Today's the day that would have been the last day of the show. The final ceremony where you asked one of the girls to be with you. Now, I'm not saying anyone's rushing for a proposal, but... Well, I'm sure whoever you go for will be really happy. You'll probably want to get some rest. She started to turn towards the door. I'll see you... Oh. I reached for her and held her hand tight. Aha. Sometimes you just know what you have to say. So this is a little different variant here, because rather than her exiting out of the door after the syringe, we now grab her before she leaves from the door. And there's no force on earth that can stop those words from coming out. Scarlett, I love you. Come again? I love you, Scarlett. Whenever I lost hope on the island, you were always there for me. When I had no memories, no hope of escaping, nothing but my name, you never let me feel alone. Never let me feel alone, sorry. You made me believe that I could start over no matter what had happened before. And you're the one I want to start over with, Scarlett. I can't believe it. I love you too, Flare, so much. There's no one I'd rather start over with than you. There are times when I've given up too. When I remembered the past, I can honestly say that if you weren't there, I want to be here right now. So, thank you, Flare. I love you so much. Wherever this life takes us, sorry, I want you to be next to me always. I'll be right by your side. She reached for my hand. I grasped hers tightly. Follow me. We walked together towards the deck of a boat, and we were greeted by a breathtaking evening sky. Ah, you see that? That's what we call a view. Behind, Scarlett, don't look at the bottom middle. See that? Everything under that infinite sky is full of possibilities for us. Things to learn, places to see, memories to share. There's nothing we can't do, nowhere we can't go. We'll finally get to rewrite our own story. Together. Finally, it'll be us, and only us. And our friends too. I wouldn't have it any other way, Scarlett. Romantically, it's just us both, but otherwise, we have our friends with us as well. If it wasn't for any one of us, we would not have gone off this island. It was a unity team effort. She pulled me closer and kissed me like it was her last day on Earth. I guess the only question remaining is, Where should we start? Well, we still got a while left on this boat, so we should make it worthwhile. Anyways, wherever our path takes us, with you, I know it's the right one, because it's with you. We'll live the way we want, and no one can get in the way of that anymore. Wherever we go, we'll go together. I love you, Scarlett. Whatever our new story is, we'll write it together. We will write it together. So we've had Violets, we've had Scarlets. Let's go with you next. Flare, you're up! You reached to my side and hugged me tightly. I can't tell you how happy I am to see you again. It's great to see you again, you. Really? You need to be more careful. We'll have a talk about this later. But I'll let you off this time. 1 second, I gotta tell everyone the good news. Thanks. You ran off and came back a few moments later with the others in tow. Except Cat, anyways. You had us worried, Flare. I'm so glad to see you are all right. You didn't make it easy to save you either. Thanks. Oh, and if you find yourself craving brains with bananas, that's entirely unrelated to how I treated you. What do you mean? I'm just thankful it worked. It's so good to see you safe and sound, Flare. If you died after all we've been through, I'd kill you. Thanks, Terra, because, well, I would have already been dead, so you wouldn't kill me if I'm already dead. But I'm really happy that you're here for me to say to. You did great, Flare. The Resistance could use somebody like you, thanks. Besides, it doesn't look like you have a real job anymore, huh? Thanks, guys. You really stuck out your neck to save Cat and I, and I could never thank you enough. It's what you would do for us, Flare, thanks you. Indeed, we ran after you two just moments after you'd left. There was no point in us escaping if it wasn't with you, Flare. Exactly, Violet. You couldn't put it in any other better word. Yeah, I know Cat would say not to, but hey, I didn't remember that at the time, so it's all good. By the way, Cat's doing well too. She's resting in the room next door. We have managed to save the brothers 5 too. Loyal. Even though they're not all there in the head, they're there in the heart. And I'd say the heart is more important than the head. Even though they're both connected, the heart is what passionately drives you forward. What passionately... Anyways, I couldn't just let them be stranded after, well, all that we've been through together. That's great news. Thanks for letting me know. I should be thanking you. None of us would have made it off the island if it wasn't for you and Cat. It's true, despite what you may hear Terra say. I'm just saying I have a pretty mean right hook. Thanks, it's so good to see you all again. And I'd say that if you have a pretty mean right hook, you obviously exercise, Terra. I've got no idea what world ahead of us has each of us, but whatever it has in store, we'll face it together. You bet. Whatever comes, we'll be right by each other, facing it head on. I'm not surprised you can say... I'm surprised you can say it with a straight face, but yes. I wouldn't have it any other way. I could really use you as a PR person for Resistance Flare. You got a thing for speeches. I know I do, and I'm very proud of it. Wait a minute. If everyone's here and Cat's next door, who's driving the boat? Everyone looked at Terra. Terra? And that's a series exit for Terabyte. Thanks. She ran off like a cartoon character. We laughed together. We died together. We died together several times. It felt like it's been so long since we could just laugh. No cameras. No fear. No one looking at us from the other realms of reality that is this one. Just friends fooling around. Anyway, it's so good to see you okay. That said, team, we need to give Flare some time to rest. Once again, I'm not trying to quarantine you because we didn't use a zombie virus's unique properties to save you, thanks. So what you're saying is you turned me into a zombie so that I can move even though I've been shot several times. So that I would be able to walk somehow, and then you restored me to my human form. Thanks, Scarlett, and thank you everybody for coming to see me. Don't mention it. We're all in this together and all that, right? See you later, Flare. Alright. Enough of the cheese. Get out before Flare turns... Thanks. I mean, before Flare needs rest. Yes. Thanks. And with that, I was alone, but Scarlett obviously comes back for more because she cannot leave us. I'm joking, by the way. Well, I thought they'd never leave. Hey, Scarlett, what's up? Nothing. I just... She was hiding a syringe behind her back. Need to give you a shot for... good luck. Right. I put my arm out forward. What other crazy things have you come up with, Scarlett, throughout the years? Throughout the years that you remember, obviously, but... Well, the doctor knows best. I'm not a doctor. She injected the good luck into my arm. I just want to say, thanks again. With that ton in tow. My life went off the rails back at the island, even before the show. That's putting it lightly. She laughed out loud, lol. I know if I stayed there, I never would have been truly happy for the rest of my life. I never would have been able to help people ever again. So, thank you again, Flare. You've been out. So there's no way you'd know that, but today's the day that would have been the last day of the show. The final ceremony where you asked one of the girls to be with you, and that never came about. Now, I'm not saying anyone's rushing for a proposal, but I think someone wants to hear an answer from you. And she's been waiting a long time to hear from you, Flare. From before most of us even had met. That's different, definitely. Thanks, Scarlett. It's my pleasure. She kissed me on the cheek. She's on the deck. And then I was alone in the room. It's time to go see her. And there she is, it's you! Hello there! Childhood friend. Hey there, Flare. Whoa, shouldn't you be resting? I'll be fine. I've got all night to sleep it off. If you say so. Come here. You've got to see the view. You reached for my hand. I grasped hers tight. Come on, come on. She pulled with her hand to the side of the deck. You never see a view like this back in the countryside. Something about it just fills me with hope. The fresh sea breeze. Maybe it's silly to say, but it makes me feel like anything could happen if we try. That maybe things will work out the way we dream they do. After escaping together, I know how you feel, you. I'm not so sure. Here goes. Flare. We just waited for those 3 words? Exactly! I love you since the day we met before all this. I never thought I'd get the chance to meet you again, but here we are. There's nothing I want more than just a life with you. You make me feel like anything's possible. And you make me feel like I'm floating on a cloud every moment we're together. I know that all the other girls are amazing too, but I pulled her close and kissed her before she could finish. She kissed me with everything she had. Passionately, obviously. For a moment, it was like we were the only people in the world. I love you too, you. You're the only one I'd ever want to be with, you. When I thought there was no chance of us making it out of there, you always lifted my spirits back up with you. You made me laugh and smile like I never before, and I've never been happier than I'm with you. You are always there for me, and I am always going to be there for you too, with you. This isn't a dream, right? Pinch your cheeks and find out. It's as real as it gets, you. This is the happiest I've ever been my whole life. Imagine if this was just a dream and we're still on the island. That would be so horrific. It's going to be my goal to break that record every chance that I get. Pinch me. I've got a better idea. I kissed you once more. We held each other and kissed as if it was our last day on Earth. Here's to making you the happiest woman there's ever been, you. I love you. Allie's our next choice. Look who finally decided to wake up. Look who finally decided to take her hat off. I'm just kidding. I don't even know why I said that. It's good to see you again, Flare. Right back at you, Allie. Not gonna lie, you had us pretty worried for a moment here. I like to keep things interesting. That's the spirit. Well, I should let the others know you're okay. Allie ran off, then came back a few moments later. And here they are, the rest of the gang is here. Oh my gosh! I'm so glad to see you alright, Flare. You really didn't make it easy to save you either. Oh, and if you find yourself craving bananas or brains, that's entirely unrelated to how I treated you. Thanks, Scarlett. I'm just thankful it worked. It's so good to see you safe and sound, Flare. If we died after what we've been through, I'd kill you, thanks, Terra. But I'm really happy that you're here for me to say that too. What I think we're trying to say is, we're just glad you're okay. You know, the Resistance could use someone like you, Flare. Thanks, Allie. Besides, it doesn't look like you have a real job anymore. My job here has been always safe and sound after all, and that's to keep us all alive. I'm just kidding, it's been a together effort. A team effort. Team effort makes the dream work. Teamwork makes the dream effort. I'll have to think on that. Thanks, guys. You really struck out your neck to save Cat and I can never thank you enough. It's what you would do for us, Flare. Indeed. We ran after you two just moments after you left. There was no point in us escaping if it wasn't for you, with you, Flare. Yeah, I know, Cat, not to say too. Said not to, sorry, but hey. I didn't remember that at the time, so it's all good. By the way, Cat's doing well too. She's resting in the room next door. We even managed to save the brothers 5 too. Excellent. I couldn't just let them be stranded after, well, all that we've been through together. Exactly. The brothers 5 are like our siblings. We can't just leave them there. That's great news. Thanks for letting me know. I should be thanking you. None of us would have made it off the island if it wasn't for you and Cat. It's true, despite whatever you may hear Terra say. Exactly. I'm just saying I have a pretty mean left hook. Yeah, I'm spicing it up, left hook. It's so good to see you all. I've got no idea what the world ahead of us has for each of us, but whatever it has in store, we'll face it together. You bet. I'm surprised you could say that with a straight face, but yes. I wouldn't have it any other way. I could really use you as a PR person for Resistance, Flare. You got a theme for speeches. And as we all stand here today, in this final day of the ceremony, is on this day only, I hereby decree that this cycle has ended. The anomalies, the horrors, the terrors that have gone throughout this goddamn endless cycle for the past 2 years. We are finally free from it. And it's all thanks to everyone with us today, including Cat, who has stabbed us in the back more times than we can remember. Wait a minute, if everyone's here and Cat's next door, who's driving the boat? Everyone looked at Terra. Exactly. And that's a series extra for Terabyte. Thanks. She ran off like a cartoon character. We laughed together. We held hands together. It felt like it's been so long since we could just laugh. No cameras. No fear. Just friends. Exactly. Just friends fooling around. Anyway, it's so good to see you're okay. That said, team, we need to give Flare some time to rest. Once again, I'm not trying to quarantine you because we didn't use the zombies virus's unique properties to save you. Meh. Thanks, Scarlett. And thank you everybody for coming to see me. Don't mention it. We're all in this together and all that, right? Indeed. See you later, Flare. Alright. Alright. Enough with that cheese. With the cheese. Get out before Flare turns... before Flare needs rest. Yes. Great, thank you. And with that, I was alone. But Scarlett is here, obviously. Wow, I thought they'd never leave. Hey, Scarlett, what's up? Nothing. She was hiding a syringe behind her back. Need to give you a shot for good luck. Thanks for good luck, charm. I put my arm out forward. Well, the doctor knows best. Yeah, funny that, as you say that. I'm not a doctor, per se. She injected the good luck into my arm. I just want to say, thanks again. My life went off the rails back at the island, even before the show. Yeah, that's putting it lightly. I know if I stayed there, I never would have been truly happy for the rest of my life. I never would have been able to help people ever again. So, thank you again, Flare. You've been out. So there's no way you'd know that, but Today's the day that would have been the last day of the show. The final ceremony where you ask one of the girls to be with you. Now, I'm not saying anyone's rushing for a proposal, but I think there's somebody who wants to see you. She's waiting for you up on the deck. Don't keep her waiting. Thanks, Scarlett. She kissed me on the cheek. Don't mention it. That was the same line that you said for you. So same writing, and then I was alone in the room. It's time to go see her. Hey, there you are, Allie. Hope you're doing well. For once you do have your hat off in a way. We can see all of your luscious yellow hair. Hey there, Flare. Whoa, should you be up here? You're hurt. I'll manage. I want to see you again. And some things just can't wait. What's up? I want to say thanks, Allie. Without you, we never would have made it out of here alive. Oh, come on, you're gonna make me blush. You know that's not true. You picked now of all times to be modest, huh? Even so, I know that without you, I probably would have given up long before we got to this point. You made me hope for a better world out there, and made me want to make it better too. You made me think that living in this world can be beautiful again, if it was with you. Not to mention, I never laughed as hard and had as much fun as when I'm with you. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I love you, Allie, and I want to go wherever you will go, if you'll have me. I'm amazed you could say that with such a straight face. I feel the same way, Flare. The times I've spent with you here are some of the best times I've ever had. I'm warning you, though, if you want to stick around with me, it's only going to get crazier. Allie, I wouldn't have it any other way. I like the sound of that. I'm cool with any amount of crazy as long as I get to stay by your side. Well, aren't you a romantic? But I think I can get used to it. Allie pulled me close and kissed me passionately. How does overthrowing a corrupt government sound as a fourth date? No, I couldn't help but laugh. What is that in the background on the top left there? Looks like a lighthouse. Sounds like a plan. Or it could be the island. Interesting. What is to do with that? What is that to do with all this? Could that be like a very, very small spoiler for the next game or something like that the developer might be planning on making? If they're making one, that is. Terrific! About time you woke up, yeesh! You sure know how to keep a girl waiting, Flare. Thanks, Terra. Sorry, I was still figuring out the whole not dying thing. I'm glad you figured it out. Give me 1 second, I gotta let the others know you're up. Cheers. Terra ran off and came back. Wait a minute, if you've been here all this time, then who's driving the ship? Oh my gosh. I'm so glad to see you alright, Flare. You really didn't make it easy to save you either, thanks. Did you administer something? Oh, and if you find yourself cream bananas or brains, that's entirely unrelated to how I treat you, thanks, Scarlett. I'm just thankful it worked. It's so glad to see you safe and sound, Flare. If you died after all we've been through, I'd kill you, and this time you're in center rather than all the way to the right. But I'm really happy that you're here for me to say that too. What I think we're trying to say is, we're just glad you're okay. You know, the Resistance could use somebody like you, Flare. Besides, it doesn't look like you have a real job anymore, huh? I'll have to think on that. Indeed. Give me some time and I'll think about it. Thanks, guys. You really stuck out your neck to save Cat and I, and I could never thank you enough. It's what you would do for us, Flare. Indeed. We ran after you two just moments after you'd left. There was no point in us escaping if it wasn't with you, Flare. Exactly. Yeah, I know Cat said not to, but hey, I didn't remember that at the time, so it's all good. By the way, Cat's doing well too. She's resting in the room next door. We even managed to save a brother's 5. Hell yeah, I couldn't just let them be stranded after, well, all that we've been through together. That's great news. Thanks for letting me know. None of us would have made it off the island if it wasn't for you and Cat. It's true, despite whatever you may hear Terra say exactly. I'm just saying I'm a pretty mean center hook. It's so good to see you all. I've got no idea where the world ahead, has each of us, but whatever it has in store, we'll face it together. You bet. I'm surprised you could say that with a straight face, but yes, I wouldn't have it any other way. I could really use you as a PR person for Resistance Flare. You got a thing for speeches. Wait a minute. If everyone's hearing cats next door, who's driving the boat? Everyone looks at Terra. I gotta do a thing. There we go. It's not your Terra bite bye, it's just a gotta do a thing. She ran off a cartoon character. We laughed together. We drove together. It felt like it's been so long since we could just laugh. No cameras, no fear, just friends fooling around. Anyway, it's so good to see you okay. That said, team, we need to give Flare some time to rest, exactly. Once again, I'm not trying to quarantine you because we didn't use a zombie's virus's unique properties to save you. Thanks, Scarlett. And we think at the very start of the game that goddamn thing was so stupid and spontaneous and out of its world that why on earth is such a thing in existence in the first place. But it's the same thing that saved us here, and thank you everybody for coming to see me. Don't mention it. We're all in this together and all that, right? See you later, Flare. Alright. Enough of the cheese. Get out of here before Flare turns. Before Flare needs rest. Yes. Cheers. Cheers, Scarlett. Nice catch there. Whew, I thought they'd never leave. Hey, Scarlett, what's up? Nothing, She was hiding a syringe behind her back. Need to give you a shot for good luck. Right, I put my arm out forward. Well, the doctor knows best. What kind of doctor is Scarlett anyways? I'm not a doctor. She injected the good luck into my arm. I just want to say thanks again. My life went off the rails back at the island. A bit. That's putting it very, very, very lightly. Very feather lightly. That's putting it lightly. She laughed. I know if I stayed there, I never would have been truly happy for the rest of my life, exactly. It's a false kind of happiness that isn't really from the heart. I never would have been able to help people ever again. So, thank you again, Flare. You've been out, so there's no way you'd know, but today's the day that would have been the last day of the show, the final ceremony where you asked one of the girls to be with you. Now, I'm not saying anyone's rushing for a proposal, but I think there's somebody who wants to see you. And I've got a feeling she's driving this boat as we speak. You put it directly onto Terra now. Thanks, Scarlett. She kissed me on the cheek for good luck, don't mention it. And then I was alone in the room. It's time to go see her. Aww, that's a really warm welcome right there. What's with that shirt as well? It's like, is she part of the Illuminati? The Rainbow Illuminati. Hey, Flare. Would you happen to know how to read a map? Seriously, everything just looks blue out here. I couldn't help but laugh. When you think about it, it doesn't really matter where we're going, just as long as we're not going back to the island. I can guarantee that's not happening. Aside from that, not much else. We laughed together, we played together. Not in that way, though. You know, Terra, I wanted to thank you, sorry, and to talk to you as well. For what? No matter how dark things got, or how much it seemed like it was all over, you never stopped trying to get everyone's spirits up. You made us laugh when it felt like we hit the end of the road. You made us brave enough to try to escape, to laugh at the chances, and just do it. You're incredible. It was nothing. More than just what you've done for everybody. You made me feel like I can do anything. And when I'm next to you, I feel like we can take on the world. I really like you, Terra. And I want to make you feel just like how you made me feel. Every day. I want to make you laugh when you want to cry. I want to make you sing and dance when it seems like it's all over. And more than anything, I want to be with you all the time. Shucks, I don't know what to say. Gosh, I'd like that. I like you too, Flare. Whenever I felt like giving up, you made me feel like I could do anything. And when I'm next to you, I know the world's in our hands. So I guess we're gonna start dating. Yeah, for real this time though. Not on that island where it's all fabricated and the TV show stuff like that, cameras rolling and all that. No, this is gonna be a real date. Yeah, I guess so. Sweet. Alright. Now we've got that out of the way, let's take this boat somewhere with internet. Sounds like a plan. Wherever we headed next, I know I'll be right where I belong, as long as I'm with her. Let's just hope there's not too many pigeons. Exactly. Oh, they didn't say the 3 words. I love you. Also, so far, the only one that's kind of spoke to the protagonist to say that they love them is Violet so far. Last but not least, the anomaly of the group. Cat. Cat. Indeed it is Cat. We definitely selected Cat, you know. Flare, you're up. Hey, you. Where are we? We're on the boat. We're miles away from the island by now. That's a relief. Everyone's okay. I'll let you be the judge of that. You ran off and came back a few moments later, so you was the one that the developer decided to put in here rather than Cat or one of the brothers, let's just say. Here they are. You had us worried, Flare. I'm so glad to see you're all alright. You're alright, I mean. I don't know what I was thinking. I was speaking to the other 5 here. You don't make it easy to save you either. Oh, and if you find yourself craving brains or bananas, that's entirely unrelated to how I treated you. I'm just thankful it worked. It's so good to see you safe and sound, Flare. If you died after we've been through, I'd kill you, thanks. But I'm really happy to see that you're here. You're here for me to say that to. Me with words again. You did great, Flare. The Resistance could use somebody like you. Besides, it doesn't look like you have a real job anymore, huh? Thanks for emphasizing that. Thanks, guys. You really stuck out your neck to save Cat and I could never thank you enough. It's what you would do for us, Flare. Indeed. We ran after you two just moments after you left. There was no point in us escaping if it wasn't with you, Flare. Exactly. All together or die together. Yeah, I know Cat said not to, but hey. I didn't remember that all at the time, so it's all good. If it's not fair in the hair, then it doesn't matter. We managed to save the brothers 5 too. I couldn't just let them be stranded after, well, all that we've been through together. I'm glad to hear that. But there's no way we could have escaped without them. I nervously looked around the room. Is Cat? Cat's doing well too. She's resting in the room next door. She didn't think you wanted to see her. I see. Thanks for letting me know, you. I should be thanking you. None of us would have made it off the island if it wasn't for you and Cat. It's true, despite whatever you may hear Terra say. I'm just saying, I have a pretty mean something hook. Overhead hook, sorry. It's so good to see you all. I've got no idea what the world ahead of us has for each of us, but reading this 6 times can get a little bit tiring. Whatever it has in store, we'll face it together. You bet. I'm surprised you could say that with a straight face, but yes. I wouldn't have it any other way. I could really use you as a PR person for Resistance, Flare. You got a theme for speeches. On this final decree, we shall make it out of this reality TV show alive. Well, except Damien, screw him. Wait a minute, if everyone's hearing Cat's next door, who's driving the boat? Everyone looked at Terra. And when that's a series exit for Terra, bite? A series exit, god damn it. She ran off like a cartoon character. It's like if she's self-aware that this is the last time she'll be seen in the game. We laughed together. We almost died together. It's felt like it's been so long since we could just laugh. No cameras, no fear, nothing. Just friends fooling around. Anyway, it's so good to see you okay. That said, team, we need to give Flare some time to rest. Once again, I'm not trying to quarantine you because we didn't use the zombies' virus' unique properties to save you. Thanks, Scarlett. And thank you, everybody, for coming to see me. Don't mention it. We're all in this together and all that, right? Mm-hmm. As a unity. As one umbrella rather than 6. No, 7 individuals trying to make our own way out of this island. Off this island, I mean. See you later, Flare. Alright. Enough of the cheese. Let's get out before Flare turns. I mean, before Flare needs rest, yes. God damn it. And with that, I was alone with Scarlett. Phew, I thought they'd never leave. Hey, Scarlett, what's up? Nothing. I just... She was hiding a syringe behind her back. Need to give you a shot for good luck. Right. I put my arm out forward. Well, the doctor knows best. I'm not a doctor. She injected the good luck into my arm. I just wanted to say thanks again. My life went off the rails back at the island, even before the show. That's put it like, yeah, definitely. Very, very lightly, she laughed. Like if all the gravity's been taken away and we're just floating in the air lightly. I know if I stayed there, I never would have been truly happy for the rest of my life. I never would have been able to help people ever again. So, thank you again, Flare. You've been out, so there's no way you'd know, but today's the day that would have been the last day of the show, the final ceremony where you ask one of the girls to be with you. Now, I'm not saying anyone's rushing for a proposal, but I think everyone wants to hear an answer from you. That kind of decision takes some time to think over, so I think you need a little space. Thanks, Scarlett. You're right. It's my pleasure. She gives me all the cheek. Well, I'll see you later. See you, Scarlett. Hey, he didn't give us a nudge as to like who we should be going after. Then I was alone in the room. It's a tough choice, but it's one I know I have to make. They're all such incredible people. I'd be lucky to be with any of them. Anyone would. I sat in silence for a time, both resting and contemplating what to do. Is it a life of excitement with Allie? A life of rediscovery with Scarlett? A life enjoying the simple things with you? A life challenging our limits with Violet? A life of freedom with Terra? And then, I just knew. I got up from the bed. I walked to the door of my room, and looked for the room next to mine. There. I looked through the window, and I just knew. I opened the door. Hey. Hey, Flare. You look like hell. You don't look much better. I'm surprised your face is intact. It's survived a lot now, hasn't it? Yeah. You know, the girls are hoping you ask one of them out today. They'll get the wrong idea if they see you here. I came here for you, Cat. And only you. You've been there for me. From even before I can remember meeting you. There's no one could ever gotten off this island, or anyone else could have, if it wasn't for you. And I know that there's so much we have to figure out, and so much we don't know in this world. But I know I want to face that world with you, Cat. Aww. Tears were streaming down her face. That's really nice. I didn't want to hope for it. I walked next to her and got down on one knee. I tried so hard to convince myself it would never happen because it was too painful to even hope. Hope? Yeah. I don't even have a ring or anything, but I'm sure I can get one later. You don't need a ring. Will you marry me? Yes, yes, yes! I love you, Cat. I love you too, Flare. More than you could ever know. Wherever life takes you is where I'll go. We held each other close and kissed for the first time in years. Memories flooded back with each passing moment. The day we met. Our first kiss. Fights in the rain. Making up. I was supposed to say making out then. The joy of just being with a person you love. The day I proposed to her. The first time. And now today. I'm sure there's many more to come. Here's to making new memories together. Cat. I love you. And with that, folks, things are to close now. That is it for this game. Find love or die trying. This has been one of my most favourite games to play in 2021. And that's not counting as well all the RPG Maker games I've loved playing throughout this year, but this game, it's been a refresh in a way which I haven't realised up until now, and that is a lot of games nowadays are made with cringy kind of sexual orientated content that really sticks your neck out towards what one kind of defining factor is for a game, and that is the tension between people when it comes to these kind of romance situations where they want to do more than just kiss and stuff like that. And I feel like at times that kind of thing can be a little tiresome, a little bit boring, a little bit repetitive, but also as well a bit too popular out there. But this game, it's romantic, yes, but it's not in a sexual way, which I really like, because nowadays Steam, Itch.io, they're flooded with visual novels that are filled with sexual content. And not like R18 or anything like that, but it's just, that is kind of like the defining focus of all that kind of jazz and stuff like that. But, and I have to say this right now, this game has been delightful. People say that visual novels aren't games, but I'm saying right now that they are games in their own ways. You interact with them differently. Use your head rather than your hands to be able to correspond with a game such as a visual novel. And I loved all the characters. Like, even though all the times where I kept despising Kat because of what she did, but now we understand why she did what she did. And it was, all in all, a means to be able to escape this place together, even though we've done this cycle many times, and all of the faceless people that stopped us from being able to escape the island, as in like Damien's guards and all that. But this game has been wonderful. Wonderful. And I truly thank the developers for making the game itself. Mainly to Auden Jin, I believe that the name is, for creating this game. This has been a wonderful experience, and also an important lesson as well, and that is life is not always smooth, but there's always going to be a way to be able to break some kind of cycle. And that's what this game has been. When you go through a series of events, and then when you wake up the next day, you're repeating that cycle. Like every time you go to sleep, that is the end of that cycle, and it resets to the morning or whatever time of the day that you wake up in. And that is like life itself. You know, you do a series of events and you go back to sleep, because that's what we all need at the end of the day. We need sleep, we need that energy to be able to wake up and feel energized. But that in itself is the start of the next cycle. And in this game, the cycle in itself involved many sleeps, because obviously the characters needed their energy, and for goodness sakes, Kat with her wine, for goodness sakes. Now that could also be a reason why she had wine, because of some form of depression in that kind of stage. But like, Kat's feelings were slowly revealing themselves. Stuff like that. Anyways folks, thank you all so much for watching. This has been a great game to play, and I urge you all to check it out for yourselves. Download it, provide the developers some feedback for the game itself. I would say that one thing that I noticed was a lack of save files to be able to use and go back, because 3 save slots in a visual novel is what you'd call a little small, if I could say that myself. Very small. And there's something else I've forgotten as well, which kind of sticked out to me, which I think I mentioned this earlier actually. I think it's about the fact that the romance of this game felt a bit forced, where it goes from knowing each other to really liking each other instantly, rather than a gradual build of trust and companionship between 2 people when it's on their dates, because usually people aren't usually like that. But then again, this is a game and I could just be spouting on for no reason. But thank you so much for watching folks. This has been a wonderful game to cover, and I'm so glad I have all of you here with me to be able to provide all this with. So thank you so much for watching, and see you all in the next video. Have a lovely day, and remember, if you're ever trapped on an island, I'm not going to come and save you, because I don't know where that island is. Thank you so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.